Well, hello, hello. Welcome back. We're going to continue our awesome journey in the world of James Henry Trotter and James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. If you remember last time, we left James and his, I guess, friends now. I guess we can call them friends, albeit very unusual friends, huh? On top of the peach, and they had finally rolled away from that terrible front yard, of Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker. Rolled them flat like a cartoon, and they ended up in the middle of they're now in the Atlantic Ocean sailing around. And of course they freaked out, they freaked out because they thought, oh my gosh, this peach is going to sink. And then when they realized that the peach wasn't going to sink, they realized, oh my gosh, we're going to starve to death. And then James, who is this little boy, keeps reminding them and keeps getting this leadership role. Even though he's really young, he's still put in this role of leadership and kind of calming everybody down. And he's the voice of reason. And he's saying, we're on a boat that's really made of peach. We could eat this thing. And, it's not like we're on a little raft. We could eat all day and it's going to be just fine. So they've been eating a lot of peach stuff, which always makes me hungry because I love peaches. I just love them. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. We are on chapter 19, and things are starting to look interesting again. So here we go. Look, cried the centipede just as they were finishing their meal. Look at that funny thin black thing gliding through the water over there. They all swung around to look. There are lots of them, said the ladybug. What are they? asked the earthworm, getting worried, of course. They must be some kind of fish, said the old green grasshopper. Perhaps they have come along to say hello. They are sharks, cried the earthworm. I'll bet you anything you like that they are sharks and they have come along to eat us up. What absolute rot, the centipede said, but his voice seemed suddenly to have become a little shaky and he wasn't laughing. I am positive they are sharks, said the earthworm. I just know that they are sharks. And so, in actual fact, did everybody else, but they were too frightened to admit it. There was a short silence. They all peered down anxiously at the sharks who were cruising around slowly around the peach. Just assuming they are sharks, the centipede said, there still can't be any danger if we stay up here. But even as he spoke, one of those black fins suddenly changed direction and came cutting swiftly through the water right up to the side of the peach itself. The shark paused and stared up at its company with its small, evil eyes. Aren't sharks' eyes? Sharks' eyes are creepy, aren't they? They just give me the creeps. Go away, they shouted. Go away, you filthy beasts. Slowly, almost lazily, the shark opened its mouth, which was big enough to have swallowed a whole perambulator. I didn't know what that was, and then I had to look that up. I've been reading this for years now, and like perambulator. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's a baby carriage. Like in England, they're called perambulators, but it's a baby carriage. Big enough to swallow a perambulator, and made a lunge at the peach. They all watched aghast. And now, as though at a signal from their leader, all the other sharks came swimming towards the peach, and they clustered around it and began attacking it furiously. There must have been 20 or 30 of them at least, all pushing and fighting and lashing their tails, churning the water into froth. Panic and pandemonium broke out immediately on top of the peach. Oh, we're finished now, cried Miss Spider, wringing her feet. They will eat up the whole peach, and then there'll be nothing left for us to stand on, and then they'll start on us. She is right, shouted the ladybug. We are lost forever. Oh, I don't want to be eaten, wailed the earthworm. But they will take me first because I am so fat and juicy and I have no bones. Is there nothing we can do? Asked the ladybug, appealing to James. Surely you can think of a way out of this. Suddenly, they were all looking at James. Think, begged Miss Spider. Think, James, think. Come on, said the centipede. Come on, James. There must be something we could do. Their eyes waited upon him, tense, anxious, pathetically hopeful. Chapter 20. There is something, but that I believe we might try, James Henry Trotter said slowly. I'm not saying it'll work. Tell us, cried the earthworm. Tell us quick. We'll try anything you say, said the centipede, but hurry, hurry, hurry. Be quiet and let the boy speak, said the ladybug. Go on, James. They all moved a little closer to him. There was a longish pause. Go on, they cried frantically. Go on. And all the time while they were waiting, they could hear the sharks thrashing the water below them. It was enough to make anyone frantic. Come on, James, the ladybug said, coaxing him. I'm afraid it's no good at all, James murmured, shaking his head. I'm terribly sorry. I forgot. We don't have any string. We need hundreds of yards of string to make it work. What sort of string? Asked old green grasshopper sharply. Any sort, as long as it's long. But my dear boy, that's exactly what we do have. We have all you want. How? Where? The silkworm, cried old green grasshopper. Didn't you ever notice the silkworm? She's downstairs. She never moves. She just lies there sleeping all day long. But we can easily wake her up and make her spin. And what about me? May I ask? Said Miss Spider. I can spin just as well as the silkworm. What's more, I can spin patterns. Can you make enough between you? Asked James. As much as we want. And quickly? Of course. And would it be strong? The strongest there is. It's as thick as your finger, but why? What are we going to do? I'm going to lift the peach clear out of the water, James announced firmly. You're mad, cried the earthworm. It's our only chance. The boy is crazy. He's joking. Go on, James, the ladybug said gently. How are you going to do it? Skyhooks, I suppose, jeered the centipede. Seagulls, James answered calmly. The place is full of them. Look up there. They all looked up and saw a great mass of seagulls wheeling around and around in the sky. I'm going to take a long string, James went on, and I'm going to loop one end around a seagull's neck, and I'm going to tie the other end to the stem of the peach. He pointed at the stem of the peach, which was standing up like a short, thick mast in the middle of the deck. I'm going to get another seagull and do the same thing again, and then another and another. Ridiculous, they shouted. Absurd, poppycock, balderdash, madness. And the old green grasshopper said, how can a few seagulls lift an enormous thing like this up into the air, and all of us as well? It would take hundreds, thousands. There is no shortage of seagulls, James answered. Look for yourself. We probably need 400, 500, 600, maybe even 1,000. I don't know. I shall simply go on hooking them up to the stem until we have enough to lift us up. They're bound to lift us in the end. It's like balloons. You give someone enough balloons to hold, really enough, then up he goes. And the seagulls have far more lifting power than a balloon. If only we have the time to do it. If only we are not sunk first by those awful sharks. You're absolutely off your head, said the earthworm. How on earth do you suppose to get a loop of string around a seagull's neck? I suppose you're going to fly up and get there and catch it? The boy is dotty, said the centipede. Let him finish, said the ladybug. Go on, James. How would you do it? With bait. Bait? What sort of bait? With a worm, of course. Seagulls love worms. Didn't you know that? And luckily for us, we have the biggest, fattest, pinkest, juiciest earthworm in the world. You can just stop right there, the earthworm said sharply. That's quite enough. Go on, the others said, beginning to grow interested. Go on. The seagulls have already spotted him, James continued, and that's why there's so many of them circling around. But they daren't come down here to get him while all the rest of us are standing here. So this is what. Stop, cried the earthworm. Stop, stop, stop. I won't have it. I refuse. Be quiet, said the centipede. Mind your own business. I like that. My dear earthworm, you're going to be eaten anyway. So what difference does it make whether it's sharks or seagulls? I won't do it. Why don't we hear the plan first, said the old green grasshopper. I don't give a hoot what the plan is, cried the earthworm. I'm not going to be pecked to death by a bunch of seagulls. You will be a martyr, said the centipede. I shall respect you for the rest of my life. So will I, said Miss Spider. And your name will be in all the newspapers. Earthworm gives life to save friends. But he won't have to give his life, James told them. Now, listen to me. This is what we'll do. So, chapter 21. This is the last one for today. Why, it's absolutely brilliant, cried the old green grasshopper when James explained the plan. The boy is a genius, the centipede announced. Now I can keep my boots on after all. Oh, I shall be pecked to death, wailed the poor earthworm. Of course you won't. I will, and I won't even be able to see them coming because I have no eyes. James went over and put an arm gently around Earthworm's shoulders. I won't let them touch you, he said. I promise I won't. But we've got to hurry. Look down there. There were more sharks than ever now around the peach. The water was boiling with them, and there must have been 90 or 100 at least. And to the travelers on top, it certainly seemed as though the peach were sinking lower and lower into the water. Action station, James shouted. Jump to it. There's not a moment to lose. He was the captain now, and everyone knew it. They would do whatever he told them. All hands on deck except all hands below deck except Earthworm, he ordered. Yes, yes. They said eagerly, and scuttled to the tunnel entrance. Come on, James. Or come on, let's hurry. And you, Centipede, James shouted, hop downstairs and get that silkworm to work at once. Tell her to spin like she's never spun before. Our lives depend on it, and the same applies to you, Miss Spider. Hurry down, start spinning. Good job, James. What a leader. Chapter 22. In a few minutes, oh wait, we're going to stop here. What was I thinking? No, we're going to stop here for today. So we will start, sorry. It's just like class. I always like to stop things, right when things get good, and we're definitely to that point. So anyway, we're going to continue with chapter 22, 23, and 24 tomorrow. Hope you're enjoying the book. Make sure you keep working on your packet. Have that ready to go. We're easily halfway through the book now, and a lot of other fun things are going to happen. So hope you're enjoying it. Hope your day is going great, and I will see you later.